Today's video is a very controversial subject. We know that the great mitzvah of living in it is so great that it's worth all 613 mitzvot. And we know that a person who is married to a woman that she doesn't want to come up to Eretz Yisrael, you could divorce her without giving a ketuvah, according to some parts of the opinions in the Gemara. The Rambam holds like that. We know that the mitzvah of living in Eretz Yisrael, somebody comes here, he speaks Lashon HaKodesh, he eats his food with Trumat Ma'asrot, he's promised by Rabbi Meir there's a Ben Olam Haba. We know that somebody who lives in Eretz Yisrael, Hashem forgives his sins, and the Neshama Alea. Somebody comes to Eretz Yisrael, gets a Neshama of Eretz Yisrael. The air of Eretz Yisrael makes a person wiser. We know that there was no woman in the entire 40 years of the desert that died except for Miriam, because of the fact that they loved Eretz Yisrael, and different than the spies and the people of that time, that everybody between 20 and 60 died, because those people all were people who did not speak well of Eretz Yisrael. And of course everybody wants to say the question, maybe I should be moving to Eretz Yisrael. And that's a very good question you always have to ask yourself. The only reason why you should not come to Eretz Yisrael is if you can't come to Eretz Yisrael. But if you're not coming because it's not comfortable, that's not a good excuse not to come. It's a mitzvah from the Torah to live here, according to Ramban. However, rabbis nowadays are not so excited that everybody should move to Eretz Yisrael, because many have moved here and fallen spiritually. If you don't become part of a community here of people who are ultra-Orthodox here, Haredim, it's very hard that your kids will grow up and stay keeping Torah and mitzvot like you could get in America. America is very accommodating and forgiving in the communities, and they wrap around your identity. In Israel, there's something else that's going on over here, which is the concept that from Ben Gurion's time, there was a drive by the government, still till today, which called Kura Hituch. They tried a melting pot to make an identity of the Israeli type of person. And one of the greatest drives of that is through the Israeli army, is they try to form an Israeli identity that no matter what background you came from, they try to make you one type of Israeli. The systems are built in that way, to make a unified nation. And this is similar to what we have in America. Why public school systems are free is because they want that people should become one type of American no matter what background you're from. And being that that's the case of what this country has in it, so there is a danger that if you don't come here with the idea that you're going to keep your identity, in the sense that you'll be part of the Israeli system of those who are going to be keeping Torah and mitzvot, and the ones who are connecting to it, and it's much harder guidelines than the American systems. Here, to be a Bet Yaakov girl is a much harder and much more taskful responsibilities of how they dress, little nuances. They mean more here than they mean in America. And that's because they're trying to stay away from that melting pot of the Israeli. Of course, the main reason why yeshiva boys should not go to the army is because if they're learning Torah, they are exempt from the army because they are protecting the nation in a greater way through their learning Torah. However, there's something also that is a fear of the religious people, is that they don't want to be blended into the Israeli identity and lose the identity of who they are. And rabbis are saying this to people from America. Don't think it's so simple just to get up and move to Israel. If you have a family and you're going to put them into systems, they have to be in a system in order not to fall to the Israeli big, larger system. And that means that you have to leave your Americanness behind. What American rabbis say is okay in New Jersey or New York or in Florida does not fly in Israel. We don't care in Israel, the rabbis here, about what rabbis in America think. And they have their own opinions here. And if you don't follow the Israeli way, you will not be part of the religious systems. And very big chances that children will fall away. It's not worth living in Israel if that's the case. But where is there a source to this? That as great as mitzvah Eretz Yisrael is, it's not as great as the Jewishness of the person. We know that David HaMelech, we say about him that he went to the bathhouse and he saw when he wasn't dressed that he doesn't have the mitzvah of talit, doesn't have the mitzvah of tefillin, doesn't have the mitzvah of mezuzah. And he went into the bathhouse and he was very upset and very sad that he didn't have a mitzvah on him. Then he noticed he has a brit milah, and he made a special song, Lam Naseh Ala Sheminit. Because he has on the 8th day he has a brit milah, he saw like a king. A king sees himself going into the bathhouse. He sees that he doesn't have his crown. He doesn't have his staff. So what does he have to show that he's a king? But then he sees that he has a special tattoo from when he was a birth, that he's royal blood. And he says, at least I have a sign in me. And when King David saw this, he says, he says, a special song to Hashem that I have a Brit Milah. And the rabbis all asked a question on this. 1 second, why does David HaMelech have no mitzvot? He has a mitzvah of Shivita Hashem Tamid. He has a mitzvah of the 6 mitzvot that you have, constant mitzvot. He has a mitzvah of Eretz Yisrael. Why is that not considered a mitzvah that he has, that he's when he goes into the water, that he doesn't have anything? He has a mitzvah of Eretz Yisrael. He only has a mitzvah of Brit Milah. And the answer is that as great as Eretz Yisrael mitzvah is, but it's not an ot. It's not like tefillin. It's not like tzitzit. It's not like mezuzah. That those things are the identity of a Jew. When somebody's in Eretz Yisrael, if he's going to lose his identity, then he's not having that same level of what David HaMelech wanted. This identity of a Jew means that no matter where you are, it's clear, no matter the circumstance, this is the Jew that you are. In Eretz Yisrael, the circumstances here are not always that way. A person can be here and be forced and pushed to be just like every other nation. And that's not as great as keeping your Jewish identity. So if coming to Eretz Yisrael might trick your kids into thinking that they're safe here just by being an Israeli, don't come to Israel.